Right now on Denver 7 News at 8 o'clock on Local 3, we will get answers today from Denver police about a shooting that injured bystanders over the weekend. Plus,
this was a complete surprise. They're really shaken up. They were terrified for their lives.
Caught on camera, an armed man follows a local couple up to their front door. Now police say this might not be the suspect's first time doing something like this.
and it's tradition versus new trends on the trail, where e-bikes could soon be zooming past hikers in what's become a controversial issue. But if you are biking or hiking today, you'll want to get out early, maybe head for the mountains to cool off a little bit. It will be another hot one, Lisa.
It will, but at least you don't have to get out as early as yesterday. It's going to be a much slower warm up for us today. Right now we're at 70 in Denver, pretty comfortable out there at this point under a mostly sunny sky. Take a look at your biking forecast. We should be in the mid to upper 80s between about 11 and 12. By that point yesterday, we were well into the 90s. We will hit highs still in the low 90s, but it's a lot closer to our normal high than to our record high this afternoon. Denver 93, Boulder 92, Castle Rock and Parker, you're looking at highs in the upper 80s. We will see more thunderstorms pop up later today. We'll take a closer look at our risk for any severe weather here this afternoon coming up, and then a closer look at your full weekend forecast if you've got plans Saturday and Sunday.
Lisa, I'm keeping an eye on I-25 because we've got 3 crashes impacting traffic there. We'll start here in the north. This is I-25 and 84th Avenue. Look at that backup, stop and go traffic all the way up to 104th Avenue. Let's go to the map. I'll show you where the other crashes are. We also have one here at I-25 and Spear. Traffic is backed all the way up to 38th. And then just south of town, this is I-25 and Yale. Traffic again, we're seeing major backups in that area. So if you have to travel along I-25, just keep in mind, it's going to take some time. Take a look at drive times here. Eastbound or southbound I-25 from Colfax to C470, 46 minutes. That is quite a bit of a slowdown. Also up here, westbound I-270 from I-70 to I-25, 18 minutes. That's a little bit longer than it typically is. Eastbound, though, running you about 10 minutes, so not bad at all there.
Denver police hit 5 innocent bystanders last weekend when they opened fire on a suspect they say reached for a gun coming out of a downtown bar. It all happened as the crowd was leaving at closing time, but after days of limited information, we will get an update from DPD later this morning. Denver 7's Christian Lopez was the first reporter on scene overnight Sunday and breaks down what we know and what we don't know.
And Denver police has been conducting critical interviews before providing any updates, but we are expected to get some new information this morning. There are still so many questions. People have been pressing police for answers as to why they shot into that crowd of people Sunday morning. Community members are demanding transparency after those 5 innocent bystanders were injured when DPD fired their weapons at an armed suspect, though many are still questioning whether or not the suspect had a weapon. It has been determined that Denver police officers were the only ones who fired shots. According to the Colorado Department of Corrections, the suspect, Jordan Waddy, was on parole and wearing a GPS ankle monitor when he broke curfew at the time of the shooting. Now he could face additional criminal charges. All of this happened as people were leaving the bars after a night out, and we did talk to an advocate who is part of the group Reimagine Policing and Public Safety. He says he thinks bars should be allowed to stay open a couple of hours after last call. That way people can hang out and sober up.
Individuals are forced to consume as much as they can and then kicked into the streets, let out shortly after they've had their last drink. This amount of alcohol hasn't even set into their system fully yet. The environment is not safe, especially if you're under the influence.
4 of the 5 people who were hurt have been released from the hospital as of Monday. Several of them have already reached out to attorneys in the area, and I will be bringing you an update this morning at 11 when we hear that press conference that police will be holding. Live this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Thank you, Christian. We will have a camera with police when they give us that update, and we will stream the announcement on the denverchannel.com and have highlights from their news conference on Denver 7 News at 11.
Home security video captured a shocking encounter in Wheat Ridge. A couple walking to their home appears to be followed by a car. Moments later, as they unlock their door, 2 people get out and approach them. As the couple walks inside, one of the suspects pulls out a handgun and then points it at the door. before running away. Police think that the suspects may also be involved in another similar incident. If you recognize the people in the video, you should reach out to the Wheat Ridge police. Also in Wheat Ridge, new body cam footage released shows that officers were responding to a disturbance of a fentanyl overdose. A woman inside a car with her 6-year-old child admitted to taking fentanyl.
It was a mistake. I've been doing fentanyl for years. I only did one, so it must have been a bad one.
The child had to flag down a mail carrier to call 911. Police say the mother was taken into custody. The child is staying with family members.
New from overnight, dozens of people gathered to mark 10 years since the Aurora theater shooting. There were candles and crosses with the names of the 12 people who were killed. And we also heard from one survivor who says community support and the memorial itself have helped her heal.
You've never seen anything really like this around here. Of course, there hasn't been nothing like this that happened, but the strength that people pull together, even people who have lost people in the shooting, people that weren't even involved, the strength of actually the world for this makes me feel like there's strength out there.
There are more events planned for Saturday. There will be a 5K to raise money for a scholarship. There's a reflection ceremony at 1:30 p.m. to read the names and honor the victims. At 3 o'clock Saturday, there's a free community event with food trucks, music, and more. And then at 7:20, there will be a special art presentation. State Representative Tom Sullivan has been a champion for gun reform and spoke out once again in support of tougher gun laws. His son Alex was killed in the shooting, and today would have been his 37th birthday.
I hope that all of the other survivors and victims have the ability to get through the day. We're all in this together. We all have one another to lean on, and I appreciate everybody taking this time to remember, all 12 of the people who were murdered that day, and the 70 others who were injured, and the countless thousands who were impacted, and have to figure out a way to get through each and every day.
Rebecca Wingle was also killed in the shooting. The mother of 2 was excited to see her first Batman movie. Her friend Marcus Weaver survived. They were separated during the chaos, and now 10 years later, he still remembers how he found out about her death.
I got home and I get a phone call from her brother saying that she was one of the 10 people still in the theater that just didn't make it out. It was even 10 years later, I remember what that felt like when I got that phone call. Rebecca's funeral, it was tough, and I hadn't cried until after I got up there and spoke, and it was the first time I had cried.
So tonight on Denver 7 News at 10, we have more of Marcus's story and how he's keeping Rebecca's memory alive through his own daughter.
New this morning, the Adams 14 school board is looking for a new president. Ramona Lewis resigned yesterday. Her term was not up until next year, but Lewis told Chalkbeat she stepped down for personal reasons. The school board will have to vote to appoint someone to fill the vacancy, then vote for the new president. The shakeup comes as the district is in the middle of a reorganization because of its years of low performance. The state hasn't started the process because of a lawsuit filed by the district. In just a few weeks, the first kids on the Front Range will be headed back to school, and we have a way to help send them back ready to learn. You can donate to our Pack a Backpack campaign. Just go to thedenverchannel.com/packabackpack to make a donation or drop off supplies at any Les Schwab Tires or Larry H. Miller dealership location.
Well, imagine you're hiking along your favorite trail and an electric bike comes flying past you at 30 miles an hour. Some say that it's a safety hazard. Others think e-bikes would help get more people outdoors. And it's the debate in Boulder today as the city considers allowing e-bikes on some trails. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta is live with how the city might try to strike a balance between these two sides.
No e-bikes on this trail where we are this morning. This is the Marshall Mesa trailhead right here behind me, but all morning long we have seen people get out of their cars with those regular bikes, maybe just go on a regular hike, a run, maybe even with their dog. Soon that could change if the city decides that it's going to want to allow e-bikes on some of these trails, and really that is all up to community members here. The city of Boulder is considering changing its restrictions on e-bikes on the trails. There are 3 options here. The first is allowing e-bikes everywhere where regular bikes are allowed. We're talking about roughly 54 miles of trails. The second option is allowing e-bikes only on 34 miles of its trails, specifically those Plains trails and Boulder Canyon Trail. And then the final option is only allowing e-bikes on interconnected trails that allow regular bikes. So that would limit e-bike use to roughly 25 miles of trails. The city's principal planner told me they've already gotten lots of feedback from community members. And as you mentioned, Brian, some of that is people who want to be able to pull out those e-bikes and go for a trail or go to a trail like the one here behind me. And others are those who say they're just too dangerous.
A lot of the folks we're hearing from are older adults visiting our open space. They enjoy recreating on open space, but they've expressed that they've made personal choices to begin to use an electric assist bicycle. And the fact that we don't allow electric assist bicycles is a barrier for them to access our open space trails. Their concern regards the speed of e-bikes.
City staff say they really want your input, whether you live in Boulder or you just frequent some of these trails. So 2 different ways to go ahead and do that. One, you can either do it in person, so you can go to open office hours. That's happening between noon and 2 in the afternoon today. That's going to be over at the OSMP Hub, or you can also fill out an online questionnaire. That's on the City of Boulder's website. In Boulder, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Thank you, Veronica. As we head outside, this is from our Lookout Mountain camera. Pretty nice up high, but it will be hot once again with a chance of storms. Lisa will time it all out for us.
And the Broncos are about to get special recognition for how much they give back to the community.